Good evening, viewers. So today, once again, we are present with the new session based on the English medium and the Bengali medium. As most of we are very much confused and have based on the English medium and the Bengali medium. So based on this, today we are trying to make a video session. I hope that it will be very much helpful to all our viewers. So, sir, I have a bit confusion. I would like to get admit to my son in which version of the education, so called the school, whether the Bengali medium or whether the English medium.
How old is your child?
Is just going to be age of 3.
3 years.
Yes.
So you are going to put your son to the pre-primary, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Nursery, or what is the name? This is
Then-
almost for a KG or
Yes.
something like this. So now, see, up to class 1, so this play group. This particular one there, anywhere you like, you can put your son to. You may get your son admitted to an English medium school or a Bengali medium school. It doesn't make much difference. But afterwards, when the son is promoted to class 1, or when the child is going to study in class 1, it is a very determining time. Understand? So at the time, I think it is better for you to put your son to a vernacular medium medium school. I mean, Bengali medium school.
But as present as we know very well that English language is very much important. I will not tell that it is very much popular, rather it is very much important. Whatever we do without English language, it is impossible. So for that reason, I have a bit more confusion that if I will get admit my son in English medium school, that's not enough. Because equally I also need to give him a helping hand.
Yes, the main purpose is to learn English, isn't it? We send generally our children to English medium schools with a view to learning spoken English, so that the children don't have to fumble in English in the future. And in order to get a good placement in the professional world, it is very important for us to learn English. It goes without saying, so I will not argue about that. But if you talk about the medium, I think the medium has nothing to do with a certain language. If your main aim is to have your child educated in the truest sense of the term, I shall advise you to put your child to a Bengali medium school.
I mean the non-English medium.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. I mean, vernacular language school. Because first thing is that the culture. Culture matters a lot. Now, if you send your child to an English medium school, the child will receive a certain sort of culture without any hesitation, I can say that. And the Bengali medium students or the Hindi medium students generally learn the native culture, the culture of our country, culture of the soil. It is very important for a child to have a good grounding in his or her own culture. You may borrow some culture from abroad, it doesn't matter. I'm not going against the foreign culture or the Western culture, but still, it is very important for everyone of our country to be well steeped in the culture of India, because Indian culture is very, very rich.
So as we have also started in the Bengali medium school, so at that time there was no such concept. There maybe were a few people those who used to get admit their child or the children in the English medium school, but now just opposite picture. People started going to cold shoulder the Bengali medium, and they're trying to give the much importance to the English medium school. So for that reason, I would like to know that if a child, that may be my son, that may be someone else's child, will be admitted to a Bengali medium school, and if they are highly concentrating to get them trained under a language, so it can be possible in both the ways, in case of speaking and in case of academic.
I think parents of our country mainly send their children to the English medium school in order that they may learn English well. Especially they may learn how to speak English, how to communicate in English. But I have got the experience in this particular profession for a long, long time. As you can understand from my appearance, I'm an old man now. I have seen that the Bengali medium students, those who have the real intention to learn English, do not lag behind the English medium students. Now, if you talk about their accent, their pronunciation, especially the pronunciation, then you will see that Bengali medium students have some MTI, mother tongue influence, whereas the English medium students generally try to get rid of that by practicing speaking English from their very childhood. And that's why in future when they speak English, they are to a certain extent at home in English, whereas the Bengali medium students or the Hindi medium students will have to translate the Bengali sentences or Hindi sentences into English. This is the only endeavor which they have to face. Otherwise, there is no problem at all. As I myself have also studied at a Bengali medium school, and I have found English very entertaining, very enticing. Therefore, I have learned English to a certain extent. I must not say that I want to compete with the students of the English medium school, because there is no need to compete. You simply feel satisfied with a certain language or with your skill in a certain language, and that's enough. And if you see that you can put your ideas across to others in a foreign language, be sure you have the working knowledge of that language, and that's enough. But English medium schools, I generally do not advise my friends to send their children to, only for one reason. That is the culture. As I have already told you, that if you want to get a good grounding in your Indian culture, it is very important for you to receive your education in one of the Indian languages, or else in English, if you study, you will receive some Indian culture truly, because you have been exposed to the Indian culture from your very childhood or since your very salad days. But still, there is a lapse somewhere. Somewhere you find a kind of oleo of Indian and Western culture, a mix of Indian and Western culture, and that is a kind of hybrid culture, which I myself personally do not like. Therefore, when anybody asks me whether they should put their children to English medium or Bengali medium or Hindi medium, I generally straightway right away tell them that please put your child to an Indian language medium school. And if your child has a real inclination towards English, towards language, rather linguistic inclination, then your child is I'm just going to learn English without any hesitation. I can say that by using my own, by drawing upon my own experience. And second factor for which I tell my friends to send their children to Bengali medium or Hindi medium schools is the expenditure. English medium schools are highly expensive indeed. Education at an English medium school is going to cost you an arm and a leg. And I think that it is not possible for the common people, the average common people, to afford that expenditure, the expenses. So, and why unnecessarily will one person incur the expenditure? It's not necessary. Why will you incur the unnecessary expenses when you know very well that if you want to get your child trained in English, you may put your child to a good school, good Indian language medium school. There, the teachers are highly qualified. There are the teachers, and of course, in our country, English is a compulsory second language, and somewhere English is used as a first language also. And those schools are generally English medium schools. In the Bengali medium or Hindi medium school, Bengali or Hindi is the first language, and English is the second language. So that is compulsory. And there is no reason to underestimate the teachers of these schools. Their skills. I have a lot of friends who are teaching English at different schools, and I have seen that their skills are peerless. Therefore, I shall advise you to put your child to a Bengali medium school.
Okay, as my son is way behind his years, so as a father, how much the important I need to give while I am going to train him, the self-training while I am going to give him.
You mean in English?
Yes.
Well, there I shall tell you, try to form the habit of your child. inculcate the habit of speaking English. If you advise your son to speak English, your son may not feel like doing that, because first thing is that you have to create the interest of your son in this language. Once the interest is created, you will see you don't have to do much. The son will keep asking you questions in connection with English, because the child then has a hunger for this language. Therefore, the duty of the father or mother is to create the interest of the child in a certain language that they intend their son or daughter to learn. And after that, the rest will be taken care of by itself.
So it means that to enjoy the fruit, we should not forget the root of the tree.
Exactly. That's true.
So in this case, that how much my son will in future, whenever he will be growing up, so at that time, how much it will give him the leg up to feel comfortable English, to communicate with the people.
To speak frankly, not all the students of English medium schools are well conversant in English. Okay, there are many students of English medium schools who speak wrong English. Even I know students who can't even speak English fluently, though they have studied at an English medium school. Therefore, if you want to get your son admitted to an English medium school, if you are hell-bent on doing that, I shall tell you to cherry-pick the school to which you would like to send your child, because the school matters a lot. If you find a very substandard English medium school somewhere and the expenditure is not very high there, education for your child's education, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You be sure that the teachers are not well paid, and the teachers who have not got some standard jobs have joined those schools in order to teach the students. Now, I'm not underestimating them. I'm saying that they have the skill in other fields, but they are not, you know very well the condition of our country so far as the job market is concerned. Therefore, they have not got jobs. And there are teachers even who are not so conversant perhaps with English, but they are well grounded in their own subjects. They are sometimes forced at English medium schools to teach their children in English, and that becomes a problem for them. And they themselves are not very fluent in English. I'm not willing to blame them at all. I'm saying that they are qualified in some other fields. Okay, but they're asked to do something which they are not trained to do.
It is someone like that they're asked to swim against the wave.
Yeah, that's true. If you ask somebody to do something that is beyond their capacity, then it is not the fault of that person, but the fault of the person who is asking. So I think that if you want to send your son to an English medium school, send your child to a very high standard school, high standard quote unquote, because it is very difficult for us to judge a school from outside, because infrastructure matters. Now, one thing, why I'm telling this, because education has become now a kind of commercial thing, a kind of business. So you see these businessmen, especially business tycoons, are setting up schools, are opening schools in different parts of this country, especially our state. And there I see that their main purpose is to profit here. Why are they doing this? In order to earn profit. And so they are imposing a huge burden of expenses on the parents of the students, and the parents are running after the mirage. They are thinking perhaps their children will achieve something which they cannot achieve from a Bengali medium school, and that's why they are somehow taking debts. They're getting indebted to sometimes banks, and even personally they are taking some loans in order to pay the fees for their children's education, which is really doing harm to our middle class society, because these people are sending their children with some dream, with a kind of pipe dream. This dream is never going to be fulfilled. Not every child is able to learn everything that the parents want them to learn. And therefore, parents get disillusioned after a certain length of time. They think that they have sacrificed a lot in their lives in order that their children receive a very high class education, but ultimately their children have been average. Now, you should not expect something from your son. By something, I mean, you shouldn't expect what your son cannot manage to do. If you expect, say, there are some parents who force their children to study science. Now, in fact, these children have linguistic skills. They might have studied some, say, language-oriented course, but their parents did not allow them. And as a result, they reach nowhere in the future. They are I mean, they are not allowed to learn or develop their linguistic skills. They are forced. They are encumbered with the burden of science subjects, which they cannot manage. And in fact, the parents also get very much disillusioned, get disappointed in the future.
So in this case, I need to keep the interest of my son also, that into which field about from the education he also has the interest, and even in the education also in which subject he also has the test, that also I need to look after as a father.
That's right, case specific study.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me your valuable ideas. So I hope that it will help me to nourish my child and to bring him in successful person as in future.
You are welcome, dear.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now I would like to tell my dear friends, my family, a few words. This particular conversation should not be taken by you literally, okay? This conversation was for the sake of the conversation only. If you have the special preference to send your children to English medium schools, do send. There is no harm at all. Schools are schools after all, but you should not think that, no, we have discussed something against the English medium schools. No, nothing of that sort. It was just simply to have a dialogue between the two of us, and the dialogue was, of course, in English, which will help those who are learning English to learn how to conduct a conversation, how to conduct a dialogue. Okay, so nothing literal about this. So it was just for fun. I think you have enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed this conversation, then please do give us a like. If we deserve, I do not know whether we deserve or not. You can decide that better. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to this channel. Without your support, it is really very impossible, well nigh impossible for us to run this channel.
And please press the bell icon to get more notification for the upcoming new videos.
That's right. Thank you very much. See you again in the next session. Bye-bye.